Hey everyone, and welcome to another video of Skylines 2. Today we are going to look at another video about the road tools. There has been a look behind the scenes of the dev diary, which is kind of cool. But we're also going to look at the system requirements and some new things we can find in this video. I'm trying to keep this relatively short because there is a lot of similar stuff in here, including Spidey on the screen of this wonderful guy over here. So let's just quickly introduce you to the team of this video, just to have an idea what's going on. So we have a couple of new things that we will see in this video. Most of them you've seen. You can see some of the people working at Colossal Order, and they have good coffee, which is important, so they can actually make this beautiful game for us and not fall asleep, which is good. So this is Lori Jeskalainen. I hope that's kind of pronounced correctly. Me as a Dortmund fan, I'm kind of primed to difficult in names in general, so that should be fine. But without further ado, let's go into the video. They basically speak a lot about what they have already told you in the dev diary, and I have told you in the deep dive. So if you haven't seen the deep dive, you should do this now, because we will only go at the interesting new bits. So first things first, we get some very cool new things in the footage. I highly recommend watching this yourself if you want to see it without me talking above it, I guess. But let's just quickly go through. So first of all, I like to talk about this thing over here. Now, you can see a couple of good things about sports fields over here, which I like. It's not necessarily about roads, but I love the fact you have that. And we have another shot of the water. I quickly wanted to talk about the water before we go actually into the roads. I've seen a lot of criticism regarding the water. I kind of understand. However, this is something I do not want to judge before I haven't seen this properly in game. Now, this is very important because sometimes these things are a little bit weird on footage. So I have to see it in game, full stop. It does look a little bit better in this footage. So does the UI. Not sure if they have updated something of this, but I just like it. The more I see it, the more I like it. So one thing that's super cool is the automatic creation of joins. If you drag a road through another one, as you can tell over here, dragging the road through the bridge section, it will automatically create a join for you. If it doesn't work, you have the red outline like here, and they do actually try a couple of things, and you can see it's not going to work out over here. But there was like a little spot where it could have worked over here in the center. Well, not just like that, but the cool bit is it will automatically create this. Same goes for roundabouts, but we are going to talk about them in a second. So let's move on. This is stuff you've already seen. So the first bit we want to talk about is actually the way how you can drag roads through each other. So it's not only working with one road, it's actually working with multiple roads at the same time. So you can just drag your road and go across your entire build area already, as you can tell over here, and it will automatically create multiple joins for you. So you will see that in another little shot over here. Super simple how it just creates right away these two things after each other. I mean, we do have to work with a lack of move it at the beginning. I have been a desperate person for move it. The way I build my roads is just slapping down a couple of lanes and then just readjusting them with move it. That was basically how I did this, so I have to fully reinvent the way I do it. But the way this works with like easily dragging it through and then creating automatic joins is absolutely gorgeous. Speaking of joins, I think we just need to talk about them in general. I'm just gonna move forward a little so you can see the footage while me talking. But before we go into the joints again, let's quickly talk about the parallel road tool. It's super cool. You can see down here, she's now showing this with the increments. You can just add the increment height and then the size, and then it will go. One thing that is super interesting, they only say on the voiceover, you can't see this in the video unfortunately, but if you select one of these one-way roads over here, they will basically create automatic in and out, so you do not have to change direction afterwards. They will do it for you automatically. So that is pretty decent, because that way you're not going to miss out on anything, you know, and it depends obviously if you're playing with right lane traffic or left lane traffic, depending on what you prefer. Obviously right lane traffic is the superior but yeah, no, let's just go on, and you can see the different increment over here, setting this to 3. You've got 3 units in between, while there's only 1 unit in between. Super nice stuff. And then dragging these things automatically creates this road. It works also bended, obviously, so it doesn't only work in straight mode, something that is not too surprising. And if we go forward, you can also tell, also I should mention that obviously it's also equal over here, and we had, I'm such a impolite person, we also had Aura over here. So they are explaining in this video, which is super cool because they are working on a game they seem to love the same way we do, and this is always super important. So let's go over here again with the joints. I'm just going to go forward a little bit because something, there you go, there's a super example of how easy the upgrade is with the road. So you want to update this road from a 2-lane to a 3-lane one, you just simply click and then boom, there you go. It looks a lot more smooth because it also adjusts the joint over here. Now this is something that gets a little bit more interesting in the future, because these joints will act as a very new thing right now, because they will be the center of what you can possibly do with your roads at a cross. Now that makes a lot of sense, because in the past game it was always very finicky to bring certain elements to like an intersection. If you already had one, this was basically what you had. If you wanted to change that into a roundabout, or if you wanted to have multiple things on top of it, for example like trams or buses or whatever, it just kind of was a nightmare to do it. And now you can only select the intersection as like a, it almost is like Move It, but the only thing is that the node at the same time acts like a place where you can change certain things, which I find super lovely. And then our patron, our thumbnail, this is stacking roads. Now we have seen this in the first video, and now we see it even better. You can easily stack roads above each other, and honestly the space required in terms of height is not even that dramatic as it seems, and I love the fact how it just seems to create like wonderfully the different increments in between, and it also works super nice with the pillars. They seem to adjust themselves as well according to where the other ones have been, so that is super nice, looks super seamless, and I am a huge fan of that. I mean, look at how many roads they are stacking above each other. It's not really the best thing to do if you want to have a modern, well lived in city where people are super happy and do not love concrete too much, but it's, at least you can do it. I think this is rather important. So yeah, building now, yeah, you know, building these kind of squares and stuff is super simple with making the grid. We saw that. It's not been super hard in the past game anyways, but it makes your workflow quicker if you play vanilla and you just want to grow your city quickly. That obviously makes your life a lot more easy, and having all these intersections pre-made for you, you can obviously then go in and easily change this one to a roundabout and change this one to being an intersection where the tram goes, whatever. So it's a lot more simple now to do that. As you can see, they are changing the road over here in no time by just clicking and making it wider, and over here by just putting the tram on top of it, and so on and so forth. I really love that. Here's one new thing, I really do love this one. This is the Pedestrian Street, as they call it. So we don't only have roads, we also can turn a full width street into a pedestrian area, which I love. We can finally have big boardwalks and stuff like that to give the pedestrians space, and I guess this is then again something to counter all the traffic focused stuff we've seen so far. They also are thinking of pedestrians, and as we know, bikes will not be a part of the base game, so maybe they're planning like a big DLC that includes a lot more inner city kind of things for modern cities. I obviously hope for that, because that's going to be very exciting. Now, then we have something I love as well. We have the prefab intersections, a lot more than in the previous game. However, another thing that is super good is they actually can be connected automatically to your road network over here. Something does not quite seem to work over here, but the fact that it does automatically create the intersections for you is absolutely amazing, especially for people coming new into the game and want to use these prefabs. It has been a nightmare in the past game because you had to put them down and then connect them yourself, and you had to look at which type of road was that, and you'll never be able to do it exactly the way. And now they just automatically create this for you. And I think this is just beautiful. It gives you more freedom in what you can do, and also makes this whole process a lot quicker. And you can see there are a couple of these. Again, another shot where you can see the water from above. And then we have parking lots. And I wanted to quickly keep at that spot over here, simply because the parking lots over here, they have explained, obviously everyone can use these parking lots and has to use this, because every single car that is animated has to be parked somewhere, which is obvious in a city like that. But you can also tell they place them very close to a three-way train station with 6 platforms, so there's quite a lot going on here with the train station, and obviously people have to park their cars here, so it's basically a giant park and ride. I love the fact we have these options, but it obviously also makes the city again more car focused, so it's upon you to plan that wisely, maybe to the outskirts of your city, so you do not have that many cars within your city, or within your city center. Yeah, seeing a very interesting area over here. Let me just point that out. Whoops, oops, there you go. It seems that we will get electric vehicles, my friends. This looks extremely like an electricity charger, and these things over here look like yeah, kind of symbols for electric vehicles to be parked. I can't really tell, but this looks like a car symbol and then a plug, even though the cars seem not to be parking correctly like there. But this seems to be odd, because this looks like a Tesla charger, by the way, and a little bit changed. But I'm super hyped, because that was one of my biggest questions. Will we get electric vehicles? And can we focus our city on electric vehicles by offering more parking for electric vehicles, simply to ensure that our city is with less obviously pollution and less noise pollution? So that would be awesome. I mean, I'm driving an EV and I know how great it can be, so that is absolutely cool to see. Let's see if we can spot this, because this parking lot seems to be the same thing as we had, the same piece that we had over here, so maybe you can upgrade them with electric vehicle charging stations. I am a huge fan of that, and I think in the next, yeah, in this shot you can see this even better. Oops, there you go. This looks like 2 plugs you can take out of it. And I can't zoom in, but this looks actually like something like an electric vehicle charging plug sign. I might be totally wrong, and it would be super weird to have fuel stations over here, like fuel things, but and I don't think so. But we know that fueling cars and fuel stations are a thing, so why shouldn't chargers be? Oh gosh, I'm so excited, and makes sense in parking too, so nothing too surprising over here. So yeah, let's just finish this video real quick, because there's not really that much more exciting, other than we have a little look on the overview of how the road maintenance depot works. So we've got upkeep of 30,000. Not sure how that is in balancing, so we'll have to find out. But we can see efficiency at 117%. My god, very good stuff. And 10 out of 10 cars are working at the moment. Going further, you can see the car in action a little bit more. There you can see it having all the barks and stuff in the back to secure the spot where they are doing the maintenance work. So yeah, it's a very interesting car. Love it. It's super simple, and you can then obviously upgrade the roads. We've seen that. It's nothing too surprising. And again, here we've got a sound barrier. Speaking of which, this is a new little thing over here, sound barrier with trees on the tramway. So you can see how much this road over here has been upgraded. So it's not only having a super wide appearance over here. It seems like this is a huge road, and then they have been put the tram on top, and then choose an option to go for some pedestrian pathway on the side and go for a green stripe in the middle. So that is super cool, because in the old game, this would have been 2 roads effectively, on the right and on the left, and then somehow just made this with cosmetic, like ploppable asphalt and stuff, make the train go by the tram look like that. But this seems to be a full road type now, which I'm absolutely loving. This will actually help a lot. Yeah, I was also trying to spot if we can see a Tesla type car in here. Haven't seen one quite yet, but maybe I was just blind. But that's that. I think we can round this video off over here by going into the system requirements, yeah, ending this video on a high, I guess, because it's super good to see all these things. So over here you can have the system requirements. Minimum requirements are a Intel Core i7 4790K or a Ryzen 5 1600X. So very mediocre. You should actually be able to simply play that. If you have been able to play Cities 1, you will definitely be able to play that as well. NVIDIA GeForce GTX 780 or a Radeon RX 470 with each 3 or 4 GB of RAM respectively and 8 GB of RAM in total is super doable. Speaking of doable, recommended is quite, you know, it's okay, but it's also doable. You know, an i7 97K is rather high. Same goes for the Ryzen, obviously. It's the 5600X. Then we've got 16 GB of RAMs. I know this might be, actually, it should be for people doing gaming. This should be okay. Most of the people should have 16 by now. However, the graphics card is quite surprising. This is rather high. This is exactly the one I have, the RTX 2080 Ti with 11 gigs of RAM. So that's quite chunky, because this has been the flagship of the 20 series, and since we're in the 40 series, this is just like 2 gens away, which is interesting, but in a good way, because that seems to speak for good graphics. And also we have the RX 6800 XT for Radeon. To be honest, I'm not too much into the Radeon graphics card anymore, but it should be the equivalent of the RTX, so it's again quite a good one. But I think they are doable for most people in gaming. They should have a gaming computer that is capable of doing stuff like that. Let's round this video off. I think it was a good bit of info in here, which I like a lot. I hope there was something new for you as well, and I really do hope that you guys are as excited as I am. We will cover Monday's Dev Diary again, so if you want to see that, make sure to subscribe to the channel. And if you haven't pre-ordered the game, check out the Instant Gaming link in my description. You will have some good discounts on this very game, but this weekend there are also other games up to 70% on discount, so make sure to check out if there's anything for you that will help you and me. What a good combination. But now I wish you guys a wonderful Saturday. Enjoy the sun, enjoy the weather, make sure to chill a bit, have some good time, and I talk to you at latest on Monday. So have a good one and goodbye.